meeting of the Education and Pupil Services Committee will please come to order. The district posted this evening's agenda to board docs at least 24 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting. Is there a motion to approve that previously posted agenda?
So moved.
Are there any amendments to offer?
No, President.
The agenda has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, please signify by saying I oppose. Those abstaining, please signify by saying I abstain. I will now turn over the Education and Pupil Services Committee agenda to Co-Chair Mr. Warsavage.
Thank you very much, President Disnoyers. Dr. Kelly and Mr. Marshalik, would you mind beginning with an overview of the agenda items, and you can go right into the first presentation if you'd be so kind.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have 5 items on the agenda, all of which are for board action. The first of which is the adoption of resources for art and music. Dr. Kelly and Mr. Cinto, our supervisor of art, music, and theater, will recommend some adoption of some resources for the music program in elementary and secondary schools. Next, Mr. Finch, our supervisor of K-12 counseling, will provide an overview and update on the K-12 guidance plan, or Chapter 339 plan. That's also for board action this month and due to the state by March 31st. Third item tonight is classroom diagnostic tools, or CDTs, in the secondary science classes in particular. Dr. Kelly will again recommend implementing CDTs in our secondary schools to align with the new science standards that are coming down the road. Fourth agenda item is an opportunity for Upper Darby School District to become a certified teacher registered apprenticeship site and a possible grant opportunity. The board action part is for the district to become a certified apprenticeship site. Again, Mr. Finch and Dr. Manfrey will lead a discussion on what that will look like and how that happens through the Department of Labor, and also discuss what opportunities that will open up for the district through other grant opportunities, and one that's coming up pretty quickly that we'll discuss tonight. And last are 2 policies, Policy 200, Policy 202. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Kelly for the first agenda item.
The first presentation is a proposal for art and music online resources. If approved, the implementation of these online resources would begin with the 25-26 school year. So I'll begin with an overview of the agenda. Tonight, I will review the process used for the selection of new resource materials, which is outlined in Policy 109. Mr. Cinto will then present a review of the recommended resources and the professional development schedule to implement these resources. And then I will follow up with the slides on budget implications if we do adopt these resources. So Policy 109 outlines the process for selecting resource materials. When selecting resource materials, the art and music teachers, under the supervision of Mr. Cinto, looked for materials that met the following objectives. They supported the curriculum and the standards, encouraged student growth in the areas of art and music, and supported our students' learning styles. Mr. Cinto and his team then completed and submitted the appropriate ARs, which were reviewed before uploading them to board docs as final documents, which are available to the board and the public. At this time, I will pass on the presentation to Mr. Cinto, who will review the recommended resources, highlight the proposed resources, and the grade levels in which the resources will be utilized.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Good evening, everyone. So we have 4 new resources that we will be presenting to you for adoption this evening. The Flex Curriculum from the Art of Education University, the Essential Elements Music Classroom, Sibelius Music Notation Software, and the Smart Music Online Music Program from Make Music Online. Just to preface briefly our introduction of these materials, we continually look to improve classroom instruction and specifically work to infuse technology into the curriculum. And as you will see with these potential new resources, we strive to focus on materials that allow our teachers to have access to tools in the classroom that help to better and further align our curriculum. So both of the programs here on this slide, the Flex Curriculum from the Art of Education and the Essential Elements Music Classroom, would provide for our elementary art and music teachers a standards-based pool of reference materials, anchor charts, worksheets, activities, games, videos, artist and composer bios, assessments, practice tools, and planning materials for grades 1 through 5. In addition, each of these resources would be searchable for our teachers to find materials based on specific learning objectives within the art and music curriculum. In addition, teachers would be able to cross-reference to find connections with other subject areas, including math, ELA, and social studies. On the next slide, we have Sibelius and Smart Music, which are tools for our instrumental music teachers to better support the students. Sibelius is music notation software. So for Sibelius, just to summarize, music notation software allows teachers to make custom instrumental or vocal parts for students. This may be used to accommodate a particular instrumentation or to create an accompaniment or to create a rhythm section part such as guitar or bass or keyboard. This can then be formatted and delivered to students as an individual part for ensemble playing. The software allows the teacher to utilize various input sources to do this, including through the use of computer input devices such as a touchpad or computer keyboard, or through MIDI notation with a piano keyboard. Smart Music, which is a product by Make Music Cloud Software, is a tool that allows for students to play along and follow their music in real time and with an accompaniment. So for example, a clarinet group could play their part and follow it on a device or screen as the whole band arrangement would be played in the background. Teachers can slow down or speed up the music and isolate specific sections or parts of the music. This is particularly effective in small group instruction or in musical sectional rehearsals. Smart Music has an extensive library of lesson books and concert music, and our existing lesson books that we use for instrumental music are included in that library for classroom access. As you can see on this slide, the clear touch boards are mentioned here with Smart Music, but really all of the resources presented here this evening can make further use of the boards in the teaching space. We are continually working to find new ways to broaden our use of clear touch boards, and these particular resources, all 4 of them, allow us to do so. So on the next slide, in terms of professional development, if approved, we would be providing our teachers with professional development opportunities for these resources. At the district level in August, at the beginning of the year, we would be able to have an in-person review of the new resources. We would also be referencing any updated curriculum maps that were edited to include aspects of these new tools. We could also work to create synchronous and asynchronous support and tutorials for teachers at the district level so that they could consult and review throughout the year as they implement the new resources. At the building or department level, we would be able to create Schoology courses and a shared Google Workspace, which could be used to deliver some professional development that would be specific to classes or sections or ensembles and allow for collaboration. Also, each one of the resources has a shared online community component where there can be collaboration among teachers within the program itself. And then finally, at the teacher level, our instructors would have access to online tutorials and documents that are delivered to users as part of the resources themselves.
So the 4 resources that were just presented, there's a total annual spending of about $10,000. The Flex curriculum, not to be confused with the Upper Darby High School's Flex class, the Flex curriculum is a 5-year subscription. So I did divide that by 5 so that I could see the annual cost of these resources. So again, the total annual spending is around $10,000 for the 4 resources that were just described. At this time, that's the end of this presentation. Are there any questions?
I just want to say it's really great to see the curriculum selection for the arts. I just was curious, you talked about like recording. Are they able to make their own music and it records like the song?
So these particular resources would not involve recording aspects in the classroom. But that's not to say that teachers do not have access to other resources in which individual student recordings could be made. With the Essential Elements classroom does come with it a subscription to something called Noteflight, which students can use to compose their own material. So that would be part of that resource there.
If I can, Damien, Sal, GarageBand, we also have electives where the kids can make their own music as well. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, at the secondary level, in both of the middle schools, we have an elective where there's digital music and GarageBand where students can record their own music.
Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? All right, seeing none others, if we can go to the next agenda item, please.
So we'll turn it to Mr. Finch. He's going to go through the K-12 counseling plan, also for board action tonight.
Good evening, Upper Darby School Board. Board President Desnoyers, Vice President Murphy Morrissey, and Co-Chairs Williams and Moore Savage. I am James Finch, the District Supervisor at K-12 Guidance, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today about our K-12 Guidance Plan, known as the Chapter 339 Plan. This plan will be up for board action on the March 11th board meeting. To go over our agenda, we'll first be looking at the purpose and process that we followed in updating our plan, and we'll give a brief K-12 overview of our plan. We'll then focus in on the career readiness aspect and parent and community engagement before looking at some highlights of results of our plan, and then we'll look at next steps and see if there are any questions. So let's start with the purpose of the plan. The Chapter 339 K-12 Guidance Plan is a requirement from the Pennsylvania Department of Education for all school districts that send their grades 9 through 12 students for PDE-approved career and technical education instruction. This is not a new plan or new requirement. This plan follows a comprehensive plan timeline and requires submission on the Future Ready Comprehensive Planning Portal separately a year after the district's comprehensive plan submission date. This plan ensures that all students receive guidance related to career and technical education and post-secondary planning focused on 3 domains: academic, career, and personal social. The ultimate goal of this plan is to equip students with the skills and experiences they need to succeed after graduation. We approach the ongoing updating of this plan through a collaborative and inclusive process. A core team of counselors guided the work, partnering with counselors across all 3 levels, elementary, middle, and high school, throughout the process. Regular department meetings provided opportunities for feedback and ensured that the plan reflects the diverse perspectives and practical insights of the entire counseling department of Upper Darby School District. This ongoing collaboration not only strengthened the plan, but also worked towards creating a collective ownership of the plan amongst the counseling team at all levels. Before I give an overview of all 3 levels, I want to stress that you will notice the career awareness activities that start early. From kindergarten through 12th grade, the plan provides a structured, age-appropriate approach to career and post-secondary readiness. At the elementary level, where we now have school counselors in each of our elementary buildings, these counselors work with the teachers and administration teams to focus on building strong attendance habits, early career awareness, and social emotional learning. Our counselors work with students and families on attendance improvement plans and teach classroom lessons on the importance of attendance, both in schools and in their future careers. In the elementary level, the counselors are in the position of getting to know their students during the entire span of their elementary career, where they can help guide the student through that early career awareness learning, which culminates in the 5th grade students getting classroom instruction regarding that transition to middle school. This very week, actually, every 5th grade classroom in the district is being visited by their counselors to learn about the middle school core courses and elective offerings, and ultimately make their elective selections in Home Access Center. In middle school, students engage in career interest inventories where they learn about the types of careers that align with their personality types. They are then able to explore post-secondary pathways that align with their personality types and start that deep reflection that is necessary on their future selves and where they see themselves after high school. And in high school, students and families continue working on refining these post-secondary plans and start actually putting them into action. They are guided through the post-secondary school application process and can also make workforce connections at our career day events. No matter where life takes them after graduation, every student in the Upper Darby School District has the opportunity and guidance to leave the Upper Darby School District with a personalized plan for success. Career readiness is truly at the heart of the Chapter 339 plan. Continuing the path of our current plan, every student participates in career exploration, which is aligned with Pennsylvania's career education and work standards. Through Naviance's career interest inventories and intelligent works programs, students identify strengths, they can set goals, and they identify what tools they need to be successful in their plan. Local partnerships with businesses, trade organizations, and colleges, including Delaware County Community College, ensure that students connect that classroom learning to the real world. Another focus of the 339 plan is on stakeholder engagement. Our family and community partners are essential to this work. We've strengthened engagement through career fairs, job shadowing programs, and workshops like financial aid nights and post-secondary transition nights. Through a newly formed partnership with the Mainline Chamber of Commerce, local businesses have opened their doors to our high school students through site visits, holding career panels, and career-focused activities. Additionally, our partnerships with post-secondary institutions like Delaware County Community College have expanded access to dual enrollment college coursework and workforce training opportunities. Now I'd like to highlight a few key successes of our 339 plan. As we all know, the Future Ready PA Index is a tool that highlights school and student success through key progress measures and indicators. One of the three main measures used is the college and career measures, which is reported on 3 times during a student's career in 5th, 8th, and 11th grade, and requires students to have collected 2 career readiness artifacts in each in grades 3 through 12. Now, due to the hard work of our school counseling team in the 23-24 school year, every school in the district met and or exceeded the statewide standard of 98% for the career standards benchmark and are on track to repeat that this year as well. Now, to put that in perspective and compare it to the rest of the state, the statewide average for this standard benchmark was 91.4% in the 23-24 school year, which shows that this is an area where Upper Darby School District is outperforming many other schools in the Commonwealth. Now, this performance is all because of the hard work of our school counseling department in implementing and designing valuable career experiences for our students, such as Upper Darby School District's annual Career Day, which is held at all secondary schools. The school counseling department designs an event where each activity is designed to spark our students' personal reflection and career exploration. The goal of Career Day isn't just to introduce our students to career options, but to also encourage them to reflect on their interests and future aspirations and how they can then explore how these translate into future careers. Additionally, we are in the first year of full implementation of our PA Future Focus course, which pairs the recently added graduation requirement of a half credit of financial literacy instruction with a half credit of career exploration that is taught by a college and career counselor. Starting this school year, every junior at Upper Darby High School participates in this course series and develops not only their post-secondary plan, but also looks at how they take advantage of that and all that Upper Darby High School has to offer to start taking action on that plan in their junior and senior year of high school. To further illustrate the career standards education, how well our counselors are doing on this, while preparing for this year's Career Day, I came across some data from last year's Middle School Career Day summary that really stood out to me that I'd like to say. There was a line in that stated that prior to Career Day in April, so at the beginning of April of last year, around 50% of our 8th graders had met the PA statewide performance standard that I was just referencing. And then, of course, after Career Day, they had collected enough artifacts so that we ended up eventually getting up to 100% of our middle school students meet that PA standard benchmark. But again, in April of last year, we were at 50%. Right now, we're at 95% of our 8th graders have met that benchmark right now. So that's a pretty impressive feat, I believe. It's one that not only our current 8th grade counselors should be very proud of, but also reflects the hard work of the entire counseling department at all levels. And I want to emphasize that one highlight is just one data point in a continuum of career experiences that our students, K through 12, receive guidance in. I also want to take a minute to state that this K through 12 guidance plan is not intended to or required to be an exhaustive list of all responsibilities of our school counseling department. This would be a much, much, much longer presentation if it was. Our school counselors are some of the hardest working and most dedicated members of our school community, and they are highly valued contributing partners in our school. To look at next steps, the K-12 guidance plan is scheduled for board action at the March 11th board meeting and is due for submission by March 31st. Following the model of ongoing assessment and adjustment, we then start the process of ensuring that the plan continues to be the best plan to provide guidance for our students. Part of this ongoing assessment is keeping pace with workforce trends to guarantee that our graduates leave Upper Darby with skills that align with employer needs and future job markets. Again, our goal is ultimately all students, regardless of background, regardless of post-secondary destination, are prepared for that post-secondary success. In short, the Chapter 339 plan reflects our district's unwavering commitment to the ideals of opportunity, unity, and excellence for our students and families. It's about preparing our students not just for that graduation day where they walk across the stage, but also for life after graduation. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. I'll see if there's any questions.
First, thank you so much for that presentation. I appreciate the data points in there, and I do appreciate our hardworking counselors in the district. My one question I have for you is how, as I saw a slide on parent and community engagement, so I just wanted to know how else are parents involved in that guidance plan, and how soon do they get involved in that process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so I referenced on there Naviance, okay? Naviance is our tool that the district uses for that career exploration and collecting those artifacts. Our parents have access to Naviance. All of our students in grades 3 through 12 are on Naviance, and the parents can get on and look at their career interest inventories with them, explore those post-secondary pathways, and then in addition to Naviance, we have multiple transition nights. There's a middle school transition night where they're looking at the transition from 5th to 6th grade. There's transition nights going from middle school to high school, and our counselors are also available during our open houses, so they can meet with the parents then. Parents are also always welcome to reach out to counselors if they have questions, comments, concerns, and become really involved in that process as early and as often and to as much of a degree as they want to be.
And I'm sorry, just one follow-up question. Are parents involved in any way in that career day in April?
That's a good question. So, yeah, there are parents, they aren't able to attend because it is during the school day, okay? But our college and career department at the high school is open to having parent input. At this point, there's not much parent input that has been there historically, but I would love to have more parent and community input in that. So we are open to more of that in the future.
Along those lines, career day, do we have, I would think, representatives from different companies and industries come and give overviews of their work situations? Are parents and family members, guardians and such, able to sign up to be I'll call them presenters?
Yes. So with Career Day and parent involvement, like I kind of touched on in the previous response, because it's during the school day, we can't really have parents coming in to visit the Career Day, but with that being said, if they want to participate in a presenter format, because in Career Day, we have colleges there, representatives from colleges, but then we also have a lot of representatives from trade unions and workforce entities there as well to talk about opportunities in the trades and manufacturing and everything. So if there are parents that want to get involved in that aspect, that is definitely open to them.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want it to I didn't want to leave viewers with the thought that family members were completely excluded from career day.
Oh yeah, they aren't excluded from. They're again because it's during the school day, can't attend, but they are made aware of it through our communications leading up to it, so they know that it's happening for sure. So they can have those conversations with their students, prior to them attending, so they know what to look for and everything. But yeah, if there are parents that want to participate in having a table or whatnot in that aspect of a trade organization or whatnot, that we are open to that.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I'm glad to see that there's been continual progress, and that the kids are being exposed to different careers and trades. Hopefully they'll go into education and put some of us out of work. My one question though is, how are ELL students being connected to these opportunities as far as career day? And is there a way, or are we able to connect or communicate with the families who may not speak the same language as the students are being shared careers on?
Yeah, so in our school district, as we know, the EL students are not in a siloed program. Okay, so we have our EL students available for every programming that we have for non-EL students. There are EL specialists and everything that tailor some of the communications to EL, so they're available in different languages. And if there are EL students that need additional support to access some of those, that would be with our EL specialists. Yes, but they have our EL students, though, have full access. When we say, our plan is preparing all of our students, our EL students are included in that umbrella.
Are they able to also understand what's happening and to be able to support their students at home, with the language barriers that we see in the district?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our communication is about those experiences is provided in multiple languages. Okay, so if there is a language barrier, they can have it in their home language. And then, again, if there are additional supports needed, they're welcome to contact our EL specialists and counselors as well.
And we do have interpreters upon request as well, as needed, whether we see them as a need to come in for a student or a family, or the parent requests and interpretation services. We do have a budget line specifically for that service that we offer our families.
And I'm not assuming that you're not or stating that you're not. I just know with some families, they're insisting upon their children going into a particular field or study or trade. And I just was wondering, how is that communicated like that? I know that's what you want, but this is what your child shows that they are interested in. And that's what the interest inventory is showing.
Right, and that's part of that team meeting approach too. When you have maybe a disconnect between a family or a parent and a student, the counselor is that catalyst that helps have that conversation to figure out what's best for the student, kind of find that medium ground. But we do have those meetings and those conversations and provide accommodations as appropriate.
I just want to say, James, since we've put you in this position, I can't thank you enough from going to the scheduler to the high school to now taking on this role. You've been awesome, man. So I want to say thank you. And Sally did a great job as well. I appreciate both of your presentations. Just proof that it's working. First, we started this in 2017, but way before we had you, and it was just worrying about collecting the artifacts each year. This is separate from the Act 158 graduation plan. At that point, we were trying to establish middle school exposure. I know Wendy's in the back of the room. Wendy was a part of this. Christine was a part of this. And we now expose all of our middle school students to 60 career pathways. We started with Career Zone. We left Career Zone and we went to Naviance. So to your point, James, parents should get access and should be in there looking at what their kids are doing. Last May in 2024, you did an outstanding presentation showing the board and the public all of the inventory and what all kids' interests are, and you did a great presentation on that. I'll put that in the update again for the board this week. I was contacted by Rep. Curry today, probably around 2:30, for some information on this. She wanted an explanation on the artifact collection, and so I sent her all of our presentations and our work going back to 2017. I want to also let you know I was reading to fifth graders today at Bywood Elementary School, and in that class was such a mix of students, such diverse students, EL students. There were 2 teachers in the classroom, EL support. They shared with me, I was asking them some questions before I started reading, that they just finished meeting with their guidance counselor on middle school exploration of courses, and that is with EL students in the classroom and general education students. And our vision is that by the time a student leaves 8th grade, after the career exploration, the pathways to graduation that we worked on years ago with Mrs. Simone and Dr. Manfrey is that the students can then start to take their courses that align them to the different pathways to graduate. It's taken some time, but that's where we are. So I think it's really important that we recognize and celebrate that, and that the board has put systems in place. You're in your position. We didn't have guidance counselors or full-time social workers. We do. And you also know that we gave the update. We added guidance counselors over the last 2 years so that we can teach courses. We're ahead of the game in financial planning. Most school districts haven't implemented that yet. We have. And we have a course at the high school where they're being taught high school, middle school, and elementary school over the last couple of years that started. So I appreciate you carrying on the visions and the ideas that we've put into place. And to see this play out is awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other feedback from board members? Seeing none, we can go on to the next agenda item, please.
Okay, I'll turn it right back to Dr. Kelly for the presentation on CDTs.
This third presentation highlights a diagnostic test designed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. This assessment is not new. It's referred to as CDTs, or classroom diagnostic tools. And in fact, years ago at the high school, we did implement it. However, the platform now has been updated, easier to use for teachers and students, and has been realigned to the state standards and the new standards, especially in science. So tonight during this presentation, I will give an overview of the classroom diagnostic tools, or CDTs, that's the name of the assessment, and the purpose for administering the assessment in our science classes. I will then review which science classes we propose to assess, followed by our professional development plan and some next steps if this is approved tonight. Although the assessment is available for all grades and all tested subject areas, again, this presentation is just seeking approval to assess students in the areas of science. So CDTs are a diagnostic tool that help teachers plan, allowing them to know the student's strengths and areas of need. The assessment is not a predicting tool, so it's not going to predict results for actually the PSSA or the Keystone exams. It's going to make sure that the standards are being taught in a way and students are mastering those standards, but it's not going to say if a student is going to score a proficiency or advanced on the assessment. It is also not nationally normed like our MAP assessment, which we will continue to administer 3 times a year. The CDT test questions are aligned to the state standards. And again, with the new implementation or the adoption of the science standards in January of 2022, the STEEL standards, these are specifically aligned to those new standards that we are now teaching. The CDTs use the same platform as the PSSAs and the Keystone, and it's an untimed free resource for all school districts in the state of Pennsylvania. So as mentioned in the previous slide, we are seeking permission to assess students in science in grades specifically 6 through 8, and those enrolled in high school general science and biology. The full assessment is approximately 45 minutes or 1 class period for students to be assessed. And then after the assessment or after the test, teachers can use the reports to analyze class results, individual student results, and plan for their instruction. Supporting resources are also available on the state website for teachers. Our professional development plan, if we continue with the or if we seek approval and gain approval for the CDTs, then we'll be following this plan. There'll be some district level PD that has to occur. We will have to upload some files into DRC, and DRC is the same platform that we use for right now our online assessments for PSSAs and Keystone. So we're very aware of how to upload the students and the teachers. Mr. Lambert and I have already started working on the PSSAs, and it will be the same process for the CDTs if we do move forward with this. Mrs. Riches will then use some time in August to train teachers on administering the test. And then she will also provide additional professional development on how to actually analyze the test results and use those results to actually guide instruction in the classroom. Some additional work would also be necessary, which includes updating the assessment portion of the curriculum maps, which Mrs. Riches would do, as well as communicating with parents and students as to why we are taking this assessment and what the results will do for the teachers. So at this time, that concludes this presentation. Are there any questions?
Any questions or feedback from board members at this time? Thank you very much. Seeing none, we can go on to the next presentation.
Okay, moving along, we're going to pass it over back to Mr. Finch and Dr. Manfrey. We'll talk about the approved apprenticeship site and the possible grant.
Thank you, Mr. Marshallak. Good evening, members of the board and Upper Darby School District community. I'm pleased to be here this evening to speak to you about what I think is an exciting initiative. We're going to be asking the board to move this forward to the March 11th board meeting. This evening, Mr. Finch is intending to explain how we are furthering our response to the growing teacher shortage. It's becoming a crisis. As you know, it's widely reported in the news, both nationally, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and locally. Mr. Finch will be presenting an opportunity for Upper Darby School District to become an approved certified teacher registered apprenticeship site. That's a mouthful. And a grant opportunity that will accompany its eventual approval by the state's Department of Labor. But before I ask Mr. Finch to explain further, I wanted to send a message from Dr. Council, who is at a human resources conference. He asked that I remind everyone in the public and in the board what various initiatives we put into place to retain our wonderful staff. This is a recruitment effort, but we also have put in place many different items to retain our staff. First, tuition reimbursement program. We continue to help our teachers pursue advanced degrees or additional certifications, making them more effective educators and opening pathways for career growth within the school district. Thanks to the board, Dr. McGarry and UDA, we have competitive salaries and bonuses. We continue to offer financial incentives for teachers who commit to staying in Upper Darby School District or who may take on additional responsibilities within Upper Darby School District. And thirdly, and possibly most importantly, a wellness and focus on a work-life balance for our staff. We continue to provide mental health resources through our employee assistance program, as well as providing additional time to our staff when available. Before I turn it over to Mr. Finch, I just want to inform you of what is on tonight's agenda regarding this agenda item. Mr. Finch is going to be providing you some background information. He's going to be talking to you about where we are with becoming an approved apprenticeship site, and he will be discussing with you the grant opportunity that is before us that Ms. Elgart and Mr. Finch will be working on before the end of this week. Mr. Finch?
Thank you, Dr. Manfrey. To give some background information, during the 23-24 school year, we initiated efforts to develop an apprenticeship program in the Upper Darby School District as a strategic response to the ongoing teacher shortage. This program was designed to provide a structured career pathway for aspiring educators by integrating hands-on classroom experience with the related technical instruction required to obtain a Level 1 Pennsylvania teaching certificate. Initially, the district allocated funding to support 24 instructional assistants at the kindergarten level, aiming to cultivate this pipeline of future teachers while addressing our immediate staffing needs at that level. The board approved the program, recognizing its potential impact. However, due to budgetary constraints, the budget item was ultimately removed, preventing its implementation. Despite the setback, we have continued to pursue the long-term goal of establishing an approved certified teacher apprenticeship program. We have been actively collaborating with the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry and the Office of Workforce Development of Delaware County to achieve the official designation as a registered teacher apprenticeship site. This certification will allow us to access additional resources, including potential funding opportunities to support the program's sustainability and growth. Now, an approved registered apprenticeship site provides a structured, hands-on training that blends that classroom instruction with the on-the-job training as a teacher. This designation ensures that apprentices receive PDE-recognized training, equipping them with the skills and credentials that are necessary for the long-term career success. By becoming an approved registered apprenticeship site, our district can offer aspiring educators a valuable career pathway while enhancing our teacher recruitment efforts. The approval process typically involves meeting state and federal apprenticeship standards, developing a structured on-the-job training plan, and securing partnerships with post-secondary institutions that will provide the related technical instruction necessary to obtain that Level 1 teaching certificate. Once established, an approved registered apprenticeship site can then provide aspiring educators with that on-the-job training and that direct pipeline into the teaching industry, where they will be returning to Upper Darby School District and working as a teacher for a certain number of years. The Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry plays a key role in supporting industries and organizations in their efforts to become approved registered apprenticeship sites. That designation then allows employers to formally hire apprentices and create that on-the-job training program that aligns with the industry standards. The Office of Workforce Development, which is a PA CareerLink partner, collaborates with county and state agencies to implement workforce development initiatives in alignment with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014. Their mission is to create pathways for individuals to gain in-demand skills and secure meaningful employment. Through this partnership, school districts and other organizations can leverage workforce development programs and funding to strengthen apprenticeship opportunities. Now, there has been a lot of red tape at the state level regarding apprenticeship that has held us up an extremely long time. And luckily, the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit is actively working with the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry to streamline the apprenticeship approval process for school districts. They were awarded a grant where they are developing templates and resources to assist districts in their applications for approved apprenticeship status, making it easier for them to align programs with state requirements and funding. We've been meeting with the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit and getting in at that ground level so we can work alongside them and kind of see how that pizza is getting made during that entire process, so we really know what's going on when we go ahead and apply for to become a registered teacher apprenticeship. Now, grant opportunity. So the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry has announced the availability of approximately $4.2 million in funding through the Supporting Certified Teacher Registered Apprenticeship Program grant. These funds are intended to assist schools and districts across the Commonwealth that face significant challenges in staffing qualified teachers. The goal of this grant is to support the development and implementation of a certified teacher registered apprenticeship program under the guidance of the Apprenticeship Training Office. These programs are looking to create sustainable pathways, again, for individuals who may not have the means or resources available to them to do college on their own, and then they can come and work with us as apprentices to become certified teacher apprentices. These programs will follow the structured frameworks that are in the final stages of development that I was just talking about with the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit, and these frameworks should be released this spring. By utilizing these resources, Upper Darby School District wants to establish a high-quality apprenticeship program that addresses our teacher shortages, provides professional growth opportunities, and strengthen our own educational workforce. I'll now turn it back over to Dr. Manfrey for closing remarks.
Yeah, I'd just like to first commend Mr. Finch's work on this. He has really put a lot of time and effort over the last several months in these meetings. And I don't believe we've been told by the Department of Labor that there are no other school districts who are approved as apprenticeship sites or even in the pipeline to become apprenticeship sites. And so when Dr. McGarry talks about being ahead of the game, under his leadership, we are ahead of the game in so many different ways in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So I wanted to thank Mr. Finch for his hard work. He's been amazing, an amazing resource for Upper Darby School District. And at this point, we are seeking your approval to move this forward to the March 11th legislative board meeting for both to become an approved apprenticeship site and to pursue those grant opportunities that go along with it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you for this. This was really informational. My question is, if approved and it moves forward, when would you like to see this actually in action?
Well, the grant that we are looking at applying for is a 2-year grant that goes from July 2025 until July 2027. With that being said, this is a lengthy process. The framework for the state to adopt teaching to an apprenticeship model isn't even defined yet. It's still being defined by the Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit. With that being said, we have been working on our application, our apprenticeship application, since January of 2024. So that is looking pretty good. And as soon as we are able to actually apply for it, we feel like after reviewing the framework that's coming out to see if we need to make any slight changes to our program to align to that framework, we should be in a pretty good shape to apply. So the answer is, I don't know. It's pending other departments figuring stuff out yet, but when they are there, we are ready to go and jump on this program.
Yeah, I mean, if I may jump in, the reality of the situation is that we've been down this road as a school district before. We have a plan in place, really, essentially, and I think once we get all the approvals, and again, all of James Finch's hard work last summer. So we have a plan in place, and once these approvals come through for us, I think that we'd be ready to jump in with both feet.
So maybe I missed it, but who would qualify to be an apprentice?
Great question. Yeah. So the apprenticeship certifications that we're looking at specifically are pre-baccalaureate. So to look at apprenticeship from like a helicopter point of view, apprenticeships, as opposed to, I think in education, we a lot of times think of building a relationship with with apprenticeship, in order to define an apprenticeship, you have to define a very specific training program that has an on-the-job training component that's aligned to a related technical instruction program where you have to define every single step along the way, every course that the apprentice would take to ultimately lead to that certification. We're looking at the pre-K through 4 pathway and the K through 12 special ed pathway. Both of those certifications are considered high priority occupations on the Delaware County Workforce Board. And the potential apprentices could be someone who has 0 college experience and is a fresh high school graduate, or it could be someone who is in a current teaching program and has worked their way through to almost an associate's degree. And we could develop an on-ramp program to bring them on board as well. So, and anyone from 0 college experience up to a associate's degree would qualify for one of these apprenticeship programs that we're building.
So a teacher that is uncertified or emergency certified would not qualify for this program?
Well, that's depending on the. That's a good question, and it gets in the weeds a little bit here because I mentioned in the beginning of when you start looking at teaching apprenticeships from a helicopter viewpoint, it makes an immediate split. You look at the pre-baccalaureate pathway and then the post-baccalaureate pathway. The post-baccalaureate pathway, we already have teachers who are emergency certified, and we have systems in place where they are basically getting their teacher certification already and doing a lot of what apprenticeship would do for them now is in place. So we weren't exploring that post-baccalaureate pathway at this time. We'll just continue, working them through our normal system that's already defined and in place, and Dr. Counsel's office, oversees. But yeah, we are looking at that pre-baccalaureate pathway for pre-K through 4 and K through 12 special ed.
One last question. Is there any commitment by the people that are participating in the program to stay in Upper Darby, or are they Pennsylvania? They can go anywhere in Pennsylvania because it's a Pennsylvania grant?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that particular thing doesn't have to deal with the grant as much as it has to deal with the contract that we would hire these individuals under. Under the previous initiative that we had when we were trying to do the 24 classroom assistants in the kindergarten center, we had a contract where those apprentices, upon completion and certification, had to stay with Upper Darby School District for a time span of 6 years. And if they didn't, there was a repayment plan, because we are paying for all of their college, okay, which is a large sum of money. So we had to have guarantees in that contract that if they were to, like you said, I got my certification, let me go somewhere else, they would have to pay us back some of that stuff. So yeah, they have to have a 6-year commitment.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is a great opportunity for us to getting this grant. I have one question, this grant is eligible for only full-time teacher or substitute teacher? So everyone seems getting, or to get this certificate?
I can answer this again. Just a reminder, is I think it's really complicated, and James has done an awesome job. We started this conversation 2 years ago. Christine and I went to Delaware County Community College about dual enrollment, and in that conversation, we met an individual named Mrs. McGeever, who was in the work development board. She heard what we were trying to do to develop our own program, and she said, you guys should apply with what you've created. It would probably qualify as its own apprenticeship program. At that time, we were still trying to get James into his spot, and we did. And so it's taken really 2 years to get to where we are today. What James is specifically mapping out, Board Member Hussein, is, and I think this question comes up, if you look at the trades, most apprenticeship programs are geared toward the trades. If you look at what we're doing when we do school construction projects, and in our language that we've had for our construction projects, they want to have approved apprenticeship programs. If you recall, that's been a part of what we're looking at. Education, believe it or not, has been kind of on the outside looking in of that process. So we're trying to do something novel here, whereas make teaching aligned with an apprenticeship concept. What James also in the research found out is that every specific category, math will require its own apprenticeship program. Science will require its own apprenticeship program. So we're trying to get, special ed's a big area for us. Let's get that approval, get that template, let's map it out, and then we apply for each and every one of those categories. So I hope it answers how specific these apprenticeships, so if you think about it, you want to be a plumber, HVAC, something else, they have specific apprenticeship programs. And James, we had many, many meetings, and yesterday James kept looking at me, it's a specific for each one. So the questions that you're asking are great, and James is very patient in his work on this and getting it there. And to Board Member Hussein, to your point, anyone who, it's not just for someone with a college degree. So we are creating pathways for every imaginable way we are on our own, because it doesn't sound like the state or the national folks are figuring this out. So we have a pathway now for a paraprofessional, thanks to the school board. A paraprofessional in our current contract, if they go to school, or in our union, there's reimbursement for our secretaries to become a teacher if they want to, or to continue their education. For a high school student, which was one of our original pathways, we have a plan to help those students if we want to. We have students enrolled at Delaware County Community College that are in a future education program where there's no cost right now. And we have Upper Darby students that are in that program at Delaware County Community College. To Vice President Murphy Morrissey's question about people that are here with emergency certification, we are going to adopt a new pipeline that will get them certified in a year, in 1 year, possibly much faster in a process that we're working on. And we will eventually have a post pathway through an apprenticeship program if need be. What's interesting here is that we don't have to take the grant. So what we're going to do is we basically want to make sure that you're aware of this and the public is aware of it. We're asking for your approval. If we get approval in these things, we're going to come back to you, let you know what's going on, and then we're going to share with you specifically, okay, which I know Board Member Williams, you've asked a lot. Mentorship, supporting teachers. Dr. McGarry, don't get too excited about the fact that you've emergency certified folks and how we're going to support them and help them out. So a lot of this would actually help us cover a mentor with this grant for these folks to pay someone to do it. Because right now the state, if you're emergency certified, does not require an emergency certified teacher to be a part of induction, and they also don't get a mentor. We do it, but this would allow us to cover some of those costs and have that mentorship using this grant. So we figured, hey, let's go after this grant. It will offset some of these costs. To Board Member Hussein, to your point, if we have somebody coming in right away, the grant is 2 years, which will cover their undergraduate 2 years at Delaware County Community College. And then we have to be ready, prepared for the following 2 years that we're going to upfront help those folks finish their remaining 2 years while they're employed in some capacity in the school district, finishing it to become a teacher in the school district. So essentially, we're trying to set every possible way to get teachers to become teachers in this school district. Any way you can think out of it. Barriers for those who can't afford it, kids that are coming out of high school, anyone that's here. I met with a security guard today, would be interested in becoming a teacher. Whatever we can do, that's kind of the pathway that we're looking at. It doesn't mean we're going to take the grant. It doesn't mean we're going to do either. We're getting your approval to say if it happens, you're aware of it, you said okay, and we'll come back and then explain how we would do it at that point, from the mentorship all the way through.
I actually have a question, and it concerns what you mentioned about trying to set up an apprenticeship program for special ed teachers, if I'm correct. And my question concerns EL teachers, and I'm wondering if, as part of an apprenticeship program for EL teachers, for special ed teachers, there could be room for EL teachers if I don't know if they fall under the right bucket. But we have quite a few residents in our district who have degrees from foreign institutions that may not qualify with those credentials, but could, if the district were willing to support them, could become certified and broaden our language offerings, if this makes sense. Would that be at all a possibility?
So I think I'll start with what I think I heard you say. Were you asking for EL or foreign language? Sorry.
I think I was thinking EL because it opens the possibility of dual language classrooms, but foreign language would also be a possibility.
Right. So keep it.
Foreign language are hard to fill, but not special ed.
No, so I want to be clear, so all good questions. So I think I'll try to tackle all of these and explain what we're looking at here, and then James can jump in. First, foreign language is extremely difficult to fill across the board. I liked what I think you were talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong. This could be a pathway where if we can get community members who speak other languages, and no offense to the Romance languages, I appreciate the Romance languages, but our kids could benefit from different languages, and we have community members that could teach that. Of course, we could go through this apprenticeship program. Now, keep in mind, they would go through as, depending on what their college background would be, we would have to identify what that is and then cover that process. It could be they'd have to go to school in the United States, and we would be part of this as pre. Remember, the grant is separate from part of this. You have to have an apprenticeship program eventually to get the grant money. But we would have to establish foreign language as an apprenticeship program. Okay. Right? Now, EL is different because we already have a process for adding an EL certification. I know to my left, I have a board member who's already been through that process or in the process through the IU, and there's a process for doing that. I believe board member Brittany Williams was whispering to me, asking me about a test. Great question. I should have thought of this, and I'm sorry. So in one of the relationships, when you go through this apprenticeship program that we found out because of James, there's got to be a relationship. So we've procured, I'm into like thinking about school construction and contracts. But we procured an agreement, an arrangement with Delaware County Community College and Point Park, which is an state-approved certificate program. They've written letters to help us go after this grant to get these certifications, to go down that pathway for both of those. Point Park is approved, believe it or not, where they don't have to take the end of the course praxis exam any longer. There's an exam. I can't believe I can't remember it right now. James, you'll remember it? No? It's a labor. There's an exam that they can take that's approved by the state on the front end that would allow them to be operating in the school district not under an emergency certification. It's a different certification. They can be in the classroom, and we can have them get their certification a different way. And that's through Point Park that we're partnering with through this process. So I'll give you all this information again when we get there. But this just one project has taken hours and hours and hours of time for over 2 years.
All right, so stay tuned.
Any other feedback from board members? All right. Seeing none other, I believe the next agenda item would be me, and that would be policies. Policy 200, enrollment of students, and policy 202, eligibility of non-resident students. Updates made to those policies from the previous meeting remain unchanged, and I would be looking for board consent at the end of this particular meeting to move it to the normal legislative meeting for approval. Did I do good, President?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now we are at the time for public comment. Anyone physically present can come to the mic. Please announce the agenda item you would like to make comment on. Do we have any takers? Director Buford, do we have any commentary online by chance?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you kindly. And with that, I ask if we could review the agenda items one more time and tick off which ones require board approval.
Okay. So tonight we have first agenda item is the adoption of resources for art and music for our elementary and secondary schools. That is for board action. The second item is our K-12 guidance plan, also for board action. Third agenda item are the classroom diagnostic tools, or CDTs, for secondary science classrooms, also board action. Fourth item, which we just went through, is the Upper Darby School District Certified Teacher Registered Apprenticeship Site and possible grant opportunity for board action. And the fifth item, policy, which is also for board action. That's it.
All righty. Would everyone mind if I asked for board consensus on all of the items previously stated?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And with that, I hand the meeting back over to President Desnoyers.
Thank you very much, Director Warsavage. A motion is in order for the adjournment of the Education and Pupil Services Committee meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.